wake up. What? What's going on? You're going back to school. I did that last year in sixth grade. You do know you have 6 more years, right? Wait, what? Hey there, I'm Zen, and fun fact, I'm officially retiring from being a 7th grader because that was kinda lame to be honest, and I'm an 8th grader now, so that makes me objectively better than anyone else. But I know that a lot of my viewers are in 7th grade or have passed 7th grade. If you're still in 6th grade or younger, then get out of here! Okay, all the young ones gone? Great, now we can officially start my 7th grade experience. My 7th grade journey started in a school that we'll call Coffee Ground Middle School, cause it kinda sounds eerily similar to the actual name. It was pretty chill at first. Got on the bus, saw some boys like Darion. The school wasn't in the best area though, so it had metal detectors just in case some kid wanted to get 5 stars in real life. I had some basic classes: English, science, PE, art, history, and algebra. Now, if you didn't know, I suck at math, so it's beyond me how I got into algebra, but I was in the class anyways. Now, I don't have a lot of stories about the school despite it being the first middle school, but I'll talk about some I remember. So I went to sit with my boy Israel, and he was sitting with some other kids that I didn't know as well. There was this bigger kid and this really small kid. We'll call the big kid Nate and the smaller kid Ben. So when I walked up to Nate and Ben, they were arguing about something, so I tried to figure out what they were talking about. You're a female dog. No, you're a female dog, and so is your mom. What are you guys talking about? Okay then, who do you think would win in a fight, me or Ben? Wait. Before you answer, just know I took on a bear once while I was camping. Really, bruh? Yes, really. Just off a size difference, I'd have to say Nate. What? Okay, so basically they got into an argument on who could win a fight, and obviously it'd be Nate because of his size difference, and he took fighting classes, but Ben just couldn't take that, so he decided to organize a fight in the stairwell right after lunch, and Nate agreed. So time passes by and lunch is over. Me and Israel start heading over to the stairwell to watch the fight, and they go at it. And obviously Nate won, but if you ever asked Ben about it, he would never admit to losing. He said the faculty stopped the fight when there was video evidence of him being crushed. So there's another time I was hanging out with this kid. We weren't really friends, but we hung out since we were forced to sit next to each other on the bus. Let's call him Jeffrey. So it was a pretty normal bus ride home, people throwing paper out the windows, people blasting music, people getting a little too touchy, etc. So me and Jeffrey were talking about something. I don't know what manifested in this man to do this, but he pushed me over face first and hopped on my back and pretended he was riding a horse. I know it sounds absolutely wild, and to this day, the situation doesn't make sense, but there I was being ridden by a 13-year-old. Pause. So he got off eventually, but he kept doing it randomly. But eventually he got off the bus, and I went home soon after, and I didn't really say anything about it when I got home, because at the time, it didn't seem like a big deal, but oh boy, was I wrong. Because the next day, the vice principal got onto the bus and escorted me, Jeffrey, and these 2 other kids I didn't know. We went to the meeting room in the back of the office, and he started asking us one by one if we knew why we were there. The other 2 kids were in trouble for throwing stuff out the window, and me and Jeffrey were in there for horse playing. Zen, Jeffrey, do you know why you're in here right now? No sir. Well, yesterday when I was looking back over some bus footage, I saw you were on each other's backs. Do you mind explaining why? We were, playing, yup. I don't know, it looked kinda good. I mean, Zen, were you 2 just messing around? Yeah? I should have never agreed with Jeffrey, because what he said got me in trouble with him. But you also gotta understand that I might have a deepish voice, and I might be 5'11", but I cannot fight, so if I said anything against him, I was good as dead. So after we were taken to the vice principal's office to call our parents, when the phone was given to him to call his parents, he started crying on the phone. Anyways, I got in trouble for it, and since I was taken off the bus, my dad had to come pick me up. Now this would be the time when the end card shows up, because I told some stories, but nope. If you haven't noticed already, in the beginning of the video, I said how my journey started at Coffee Ground Middle. My 7th grade year isn't over yet because of winter break. I went to a completely different school. We'll just call this school Tree, because why not? Trees are fun. So when I found out about this devastating news that I was going to a new school, I instantly told my boy Israel, because he was like the only person I talked to at the time. At The last day came closer and closer, and when it was finally here, it was kind of underwhelming because it was pretty much a normal school day at that point. I pretty much didn't care that I was moving because I already sat on the idea of moving for about 2 weeks at that point. So me and Israel walked out to our buses, but before we left, we gave each other the final dap up. Nothing really happened during winter break. I just kind of sat there in my new apartment for 2.5 weeks, but guess what? I'm at Tree now. Now let me ask you this. How do you normally feel on the first day back to school? Usually pretty good if you know the people there, right? Well, I didn't have the luxury of that because it was a new school and I technically just showed up out of the blue halfway through the school year. Now I'm not gonna get too deep into the school stories that happened here there because that would make this video like extremely long and I don't have the time to animate it. So I'll just give little snippets of my experience here and there. Bathrooms. Now, school bathrooms are normally bad, but Tree's bathrooms were different because no matter when you went in there, it always had a stench. Sometimes it would smell like straight chemicals, and other times it would smell like straight dookie. No in between, just those two. Classes. So, most of my classes were the same, but they took me out of algebra and put me in Math 7 where I belonged in the first place. But some of my 7th grade teachers were on some demon time jump, bro. My history teacher made us face a wall and spoke to us like we were in boot camp, but that's another story for another video. School lunches. Alright, so school lunches could be a whole nother topic for a different video, but to summarize it, sometimes the school's food was good like Domino's pizza or the Doritos walking tacos, and sometimes they just took dookie smell from the bathroom and made it into a solid thing that we could eat. If y'all want to hear about like my other stories from the school, then I'll do that. Just let me know in the comments, alright?
Yo, it's Zen. And just wanted to say thank you guys for watching. Like the video, share it, subscribe, and all that. But now it's time for heart to heart. Thank you guys for sticking out, waiting for this video to come out, even after all the pushbacks and all that. It really means a lot to me, since knowing that you guys will watch my videos, even if they come out later than they are supposed to. Also, look, I have fan art. Thank you to my friend who made it for me. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Really love you guys. Here's to a better 2024. This is Zen signing out.